The Verminologist's secret. The first time I saw the rats, I was sure I was losing my mind. It was during a routine pest inspection in the bowels of a forgotten subway station, the kind of dingy place where the air was thick with the scent of mold and despair. As I crouched down, flashlight flickering, I spotted them. Dozens of them, their eyes glimmering like black beads in the dark. But it wasn't the sheer number that rattled me. It was the way they moved, synchronized, as if they were part of some grotesque ballet, a hive mind pulsing beneath the city. I hurried back to the pest control company, adrenaline thrumming in my veins, desperate to share my findings. "We need to report this," I insisted, my voice trembling with urgency. But my colleagues just laughed, their derision echoing in the sterile break room. "You've lost it, Mark. Unkillable rats? You're a lunatic." Their laughter cut deeper than the cold steel of my flashlight. Then came the betrayal. They reported me to the management and I was out the door, branded a delusional freak. My family, instead of offering solace, joined the chorus of mocking voices. "You're disgracing us," my father thundered, the disappointment in his eyes sharper than a knife. "Get a real job, Mark. This obsession will ruin you." I wanted to scream back, to show them the truth I had glimpsed in the darkness, but I retreated into silence, the weight of their scorn pressing down on me like a tombstone. That was the moment I submerged myself in the depths of forbidden verminology. I became a ghost in the world of pestology, haunting the alleys and tunnels of the city, collecting evidence of the anomalies lurking just beneath the surface. Years passed, and I became a scholar of the unthinkable. My research bore fruit. I discovered patterns, connections, and a terrifying world that thrived in the shadows. I mapped cursed territories, documented folklore-based anomalies, and unveiled a truth that shook the very foundations of pest control. The rats were not just a nuisance. They were harbingers of something far more sinister, something that had colonized our world long before we ever noticed. With every paper published, every lecture given, I clawed my way up from the ashes of ridicule to become the foremost expert in paranormal pestology. I was no longer the laughingstock of my family. I was a beacon of dark knowledge, a warning of what lay beneath our feet. But as I gained recognition, a sense of dread wrapped around my heart like a constrictor. I had survived horrors that would drive most sane people to madness, and now I was afraid of what I had become. When I finally returned home, it was not to a warm embrace. The house, adorned with the same family portraits that lined the walls like ghosts, felt foreign and suffocating. My mother's eyes widened in disbelief as I walked through the door, a stranger draped in the shadows of my own nightmares. "Mark," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What have you done?" "I've uncovered the truth," I replied, my voice steady, "and you need to see it." They didn't believe me. I could see it in their faces, the disbelief, the fear, and the lingering mockery. "You're just a verminologist," my brother sneered. "You think you can scare us with your stories?" I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "You don't understand, they're coming." That evening, as we sat around the dinner table, the atmosphere thick with tension, I shared my findings. I told them about the hive mind, the intelligence behind the vermin, and the way they had thrived in the darkness, feeding off our ignorance. I watched their faces shift from skepticism to horror as I recounted the tales of those who had ventured too close, those who had disappeared without a trace. And then, as if summoned by my words, it began. The lights flickered, and a low rumbling echoed through the house. I felt the ground tremble beneath me, a sinister heartbeat pulsing in time with my own. My family exchanged terrified glances, the realization dawning on them too late. The walls began to shake, plaster cracking and dust swirling in the air. And then they came. The rats. They poured into the room like a dark tide, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. They moved as one, a writhing mass of fur and teeth, invading the sanctuary of our home. "Mark, what is happening?" my mother screamed, her voice cracking with panic. I stood in the center of the chaos, a twisted sense of vindication surging through me. "This is what I warned you about. You mocked me, but now you see the truth." The rats surged forward, a cacophony of shrieks and chittering filling the air. My family's screams echoed in the confines of my mind, a haunting symphony of disbelief and terror. They realized too late the cost of their ridicule. I had faced the darkness, and now it was claiming them. As I watched my family succumb to the horror they had dismissed, a profound weight settled in my chest. I had survived, but at what cost? I turned away, leaving them to their fate, the darkness enveloping them like a shroud. In that moment, symphony. I became the very warning I had sought to deliver. I stepped out into the night, the city sprawling before me like I had become what they feared, and now they were the ones left to face the consequences of their disbelief.